Hello, my beautiful beings. My name is Pharaoh Lionheart Tahar, and welcome to Ground Zero. For the individuals who are connected, welcome. This is a very, very exciting time for me because I now have an opportunity to be able to introduce a little bit of my world and what I've been working on with my fellow tribe. So this is a breakdown for our Ground Zero Financials. What our Ground Zero Financials consulting group does is we essentially help people break out of the matrix. We do this by setting up a strategic financial system that helps you accumulate funds and get the funding that you need to create a window of opportunity for you to be able to invest those funds into a more sustainable financial system so that you're not always relying on the typical work or whatever system that you're in right now that is not really being efficient of our energy. So with that, I wanted to personally introduce my brother, our partner with this project for us, who is kind of overseeing our Ground Zero Financial Foundation, which is serving as literally the foundation for our entire project Arcadia, John Caldwell. So he's going to explain this and show you his magic and do his stuff. So I'm going to be trying to ask as much questions as I can, but he flows so well. And so I hope that he answers all the questions that you guys may have. John.
Perfect. Hey, Farrell. Great to be here, man. So yeah, my name is John Caldwell, President, CEO of the One Stop Money Shop. I've been self-employed for about 25 years now. And, I started out in the mortgage industry, learning everything that I can. And I became like a credit analyst where I'm able to look at your credit and determine if you're bankable or not. And so it was a really important piece to understand the credit because the credit is what unlocks the ability to get financing. So I teach people how to focus on credit-based lending. So I'm like a finance consultant. And I teach you how the bank works and how to access capital from the banks and use it for whatever you need, okay? My whole thing is to focus on your passion. Try to figure out what you're passionate about and turn that into a career. Take this money to build your business and get residual income. Residual income is the key to allowing yourself to, basically become self-sustainable, where you have money flowing in every single month to take care of your normal bills, right? We all are stuck in this rat race right now. They've created the system called the rat race where you bust your ass every single day trying to make money just so that you can survive and pay your day-to-day bills. And too many people are trapped in that cycle. And so what I'm trying to do and focus on is help people get out of that cycle by leveraging debt to create wealth. That's the key, right? You can't do it on your own. You can't do it through the normal system that they created for us. And
I really like how you talked about leveraging debt. Because I think a lot of people don't necessarily know what that is or what that looks like or how the debt system was designed or, like we talked about the other day, so many people just want to strive to have a good credit score just to say they have a good credit score, but they've never been actually taught how to use credit to be able to financially sustain yourself and perpetuate income and wealth.
Yeah, 100%. And that is stemmed from fear of debt. They've indoctrinated us through fear of getting into debt and being held accountable to these bankers. And the bankers are the most evil people in the world. That's kind of how my awakening happened too. About 8 years ago, it was weird. Like I literally heard a voice in my head say, John, you need to find the truth. Because I always had these questions. I'm here sitting here helping people, get mortgages and business loans and all these loans. And I'm like, how does the bank get money? And how do they determine how much money to give the clients, right? So I started researching, all about the banking industry and, the Federal Reserve and, all how money first started back in the days, before even gold and silver. And it just took me down this rabbit hole of understanding who the people are controlling the system. And they literally want us all enslaved in debt. And they basically created a system where if you know how to play the game, you can win. But they didn't hand a manual out to anybody, so they didn't teach us how to play this game. So the ones that know how to play and they understand how money works, they will succeed. If you don't, you will be completely trapped and completely brainwashed and scared and live in fear of this debt. But the debt is actually your friend, because you can borrow money, leverage the bank's money to create wealth and assets and residual income for yourself that will take you where you need to be. And what I focus on is unsecured debt, because unsecured debt is not tied to any asset. So at the end of the day, if for some strange reason your business fails or your investments fail or whatever you're taking that money and putting it into fails, at the end of the day, all they can do is hurt your credit. And bad credit is just as it's pretty much the same as not using your good credit. Because if you're in fear when you have good credit and you're not using it, a lot of people are in that same boat where they're not using or can't use it because they have bad credit. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, to summarize, you help people get capital, get actual credit, cash, capital that they can use to invest into projects. Now, kind of taking a small segue into why that is so important, because we have to realize that this matrix construct that we are in is designed to create an illusion of stability by making us think that it is something that is providing security for us at the expense of us working for that system for our entire life. And so what John really, really helps us do is he gives you an opportunity to create your own stability that is not an illusion, that is built and dictated on your own foundation, on the rules that you decide to set for you in your life. So John, let's say I'm an individual and I say, you know what, I want this opportunity. I want to go through this program and get this funding. What would be the first step? What would I need?
Yeah. So it's real easy. The first step is I want to be able to look at your credit, right? So I'll send you a link to pull a link to all your 3 credit bureaus. I look at the credit, I analyze it, we set up a consultation, give you a free consultation for half hour to an hour, and I design a blueprint based on what I see in your credit, okay? Some people have bad credit, right? I have the ability to repair credit, I have the ability to rebuild credit, and I do it the way where it's expedited, not the old-fashioned way of taking months and years to rebuild your credit. I speed up the process with help from a lot of different tools that I have. Then I teach you how to go and get business financing and personal financing. Business financing requires a corporation to be set up, and I help you facilitate the start of the corporation buildup. I also have a huge list of corporations that we've already established. So I basically can sell you an aged corporate entity that's already in existence. And the cool thing about that is that it basically makes it look like you've been in business already for like a couple of years. And it allows you to get over that hump of looking like you're a startup. Because not many banks want to fund a startup, because essentially you're taking a huge risk, and they are too, in starting up your business. And 75% of businesses fail in the first couple of years. So when you're over the 2-year hump, that makes the bank feel a lot more comfortable. Plus, on the application, you can state how much money you made last year, which is all stated income anyway on the applications that I do. I try not to have any kind of verification of income, and we focus on just the credit as the strength to get the approval. Because if you go up and above that, then they're asking for tax returns and all the stuff that most people can't provide, or if they can, they're smart enough to write off all the income, and so they don't really qualify for the loans. So I focus on this really important bubble within the system that allows us to play this game and to win every single time. So I know exactly what to expect, and the outcome is pretty much similar for everybody, depending on the strength of their credit, okay? So that is the key. I look at your credit, I make the adjustments needed to make you bankable, and I can do every single piece of the puzzle.
So essentially, John, I remember what you communicated to myself and Athena the other day is that you help basically dress us up to be the prettiest version of financial stability that is needed for a bank to trust us with money.
Yes.
That is very, very beautiful.
Yeah. Because when you walk into a bank, they don't look at you. They don't look at your beautiful face. They don't. They literally say, okay, great, Pharaoh, we're going to pull your credit, and whatever the credit says, that's how we're going to treat you. Unfortunately, you know, and it's really a shame, even though people have the most brilliant ideas of what they want to do with this money. They don't care about that. They only care about your credit worthiness and their ability to give you money, because they can't give you money without unlocking that credit piece. That credit is literally the key that unlocks their vault to send you the money, which of course, they're not sending you their money.
Right.
They're actually using your social security number to unlock the credit. And if they create the debt out of thin air by using other people's deposits through what's called fractional reserve banking. But I don't want to get into that on this call. I just want to let you know that they're never lending you money. So don't be scared of, oh my God, I need to pay the banks back because they don't have enough money. Come on.
Absolutely. Man. So in about the first 30 to 60 days, you're spending time optimizing our credit, kind of going through that dress up phase.
If they need it, yeah.
If needed. A lot of people that you work with don't need it. Is that what we talked about yesterday?
Yeah, some people are ready to go immediately. And so we have the consultation. I say, hey, you are qualified for, I think, this, around this amount of money. And we can start immediately, have you fill out a loan application and a fee agreement. And we organize the applications. I do what's called, mapping out the banks, where I figure out which banks are going to be suitable for you, depending on the area that you live and your credit rating. And
so you Google all the banks in our area and identify which ones are going to help us have the high intent of approving us.
Yeah, I've done all the Googling I need to do, and I don't use Google anymore, just so you know. But I have an extensive list of banks for different regions and their guidelines. And so, I look into my little black book and figure out where we're going to go, and just determine the right, blueprint and path that we're going to do. And I use a special technique that I've developed along with other people in the industry called stacking, where we literally go after all the banks at the same time, so that we're racking up inquiries on the same day or a day or two apart, where the banks kind of only see inquiries, not the accounts, because accounts kind of take a few days to weeks to show up on the credit. So essentially you're shopping around for the best rate for your loan. And I give you a whole script, and I teach you why we're doing what we're doing. And I'm not going to give you all the secrets, up front, but at the same time,
So when we call the banks to get these loans, you got a script that you've given to us that helps us know the word usage and the things to say.
Oh yeah, because if you say the wrong thing, you instantly divert down this other path that you don't want to be on. Okay, you want to say the right thing so that you don't come up with any hurdles. And I teach you, why they're doing these certain things so that you just don't make those mistakes. Because I had to go through all the mistakes myself. I literally learned how to create my own business out of doing it all myself and going through the ups and downs. And I don't want everybody to go through all the pitfalls that I had to go through. So now that I've learned, and I've worked inside banks, I've worked alongside a lot of bankers, and I really understand how the world works and start as far as the banking system. And so I want to share all my knowledge, man, because you have all these great, wonderful people that have all these great ideas of what they want to do to just change the world, and they don't have the access to the money. So I want to be the guy on the top of the fence, reaching my hand down, grabbing you and saying, please, I'll show you the way. I'll show you how to get here. And I want you to come with a big old bag of cash and gold. All right. So that's literally what I'm doing.
Beautiful. So to summarize kind of what we're saying here is that we create an opportunity for you to gain capital and gain funding that is needed to invest into something else or someone else that is going to generate more wealth into your pocket and to be able to create residual income for you. Yeah. And so this is kind of why John and I have become partners in this Arcadia project, because John is the individual who helps free up the capital and to be able to create an opportunity for you to have something to invest in. And then Project Arcadia gives you something to invest in. We have systems and tools and business projects and business structures that are already set up as templates almost, that just by financially investing in them, they'll be able to generate income, anything from online businesses to investing in Forex trading. And so we have the tools that are designed that once you get your funding, we outline it and organize it for you so that you can use that funding to live off of it and to be able to sustain yourself, while also being able to have a certain percentage of your funds to be invested into projects that are going to generate self-sustainability. Yeah. Now, after the funding, John, if that the cash comes to their hand, what does life look like after that?
Yeah. So I teach you a rule of 80, the 80-20 rule, right? So the 80-20 rule is, let's use $100,000 for an example. You raise $100,000, you take 20% of it and you put it into a business account that is completely separate from all the loans or lines of credit or credit cards that you've ever got. And you use that debt to pay your debt back. And it'll pay about a year, maybe sometimes a year and a half of your payments.
So 20% pays 1 year of the monthly payments for the loan that you took out.
For those loans, yeah. Because typically you're getting 5-year loans, right? 100 divided by 5 is 20. So 20% of it should cover about a year of your payments. And that's key, because then you're not having to take any money out of your pocket or make any money to pay the debt. So you're using the debt to pay your debt initially, right? And because I never really want you to risk any of your own money until you're successful, right? Until you figured out a way that you're making money and you can sustain the debt. So that's the key, 80-20 rule. Then in 6 months, we're going to go back and we're going to get some more money, all right? So we're going to constantly replenish your working capital with new money, which will enable you to continue to play this game, right? This is a game. You literally have to play it to win. So you have to continue to acquire debt to help facilitate yourself until that business or those investments or anything that you're investing in is producing the result that you want, okay? Because I see too many people get their first round of funding and they go 12 months, they run out of money, and they quit and they don't do anything more. And then the business it needs more money, or it fails, and then they have to stop there, okay? I want to continue to perpetuate this debt game for a couple of years until you have enough money to continue on the path and keep you going, okay?
Awesome. So I get funded. I have the funds. I take 20% of it. I put it away to pay off my debts for the next year. Yep. When are we looking at taking up the next round of funding? And typically, like, how much is that, bigger or same size as the first time, or how does that work?
Great question. Okay, so it's all going to be dependent on your credit, right? So the strength of your credit determines the amount of money that we can raise. What I typically like to do is every 6 months, you switch off from personal to business. So the first round of funding, we want to do personal because you want to build the strength of your personal credit. Once you get the strength of the personal credit built up and you have 6 months of payments, then we're purchasing a corporation or we're starting a corporation, whatever we need to do. We get the corporate entity set up. We get the tax ID number set up for the business. And the tax ID number is literally a way to create a separate credit reporting system for the business. And when you get debt on the business in the tax ID number, most of the debt never shows up on the personal credit. So it's like acquiring all this extra funding that is not showing up on your personal credit and affecting your credit score. So you can always keep that nice, good, strong credit, and you can max out all the business debt, and it won't affect your debt ratio. Because if you go out and you max out all your personal credit cards, it's going to rapidly decrease your FICO score by about 30%, because revolving debt is 30% of your available credit, and it's 30% of your credit score. So that's really critical. So every 6 months we go back and we get a little bit more money. And some clients get 200 grand, some clients get 50 grand. So it's just a range. But average is around 100 grand per client per round, and that's what I focus on. But the earlier, the lighter credit files are going to be a little bit less up in the beginning. But you'll get to a point. I mean, I'll get your credit strong enough to where you're banging out 100 grand or so in a round or two. So yeah, and that gives you enough money usually to, do what you need to do and at least get you through the next 6 or 12 months before we get new money. So,
Awesome. Thank
yeah.
you for all this information, John. Also, for the people who may not know your face, how long have you been in this business? How long have you been the Morpheus that's been plugging people out of the matrix?
Well, I've been doing financial stuff for 25 years. I've just been kind of, building my own business with my own. I have like brokers all over the United States that send me business, so I don't have to do marketing anymore. So that's probably why, you don't see me out there, begging for business, because I have plenty of it. But I love helping people, and what I really wanted to focus on a few years back is I got involved with the Earth Nation group, and I love what we're doing to bring on the new Earth. And I realized that it's such a critical thing for people that have all the answers. We have all the solutions, right? We know what we need to do, but there's not enough funding. So I'm doing my part. I'm playing my role in getting everybody enough money to get out of the rat race. And once they're out of the rat race and they can focus all their time on building the new Earth, it's going to happen a lot faster. So
that is so beautiful. Thank you so much, John, for creating this bridge that is allowing us to take all of our wonderful ideas and actually have the financial resource to materialize these ideas into the new world. That is what we've been waiting on. And thank you for showing up.
Definitely.
So I wanted to make this video to inform all of my members, all of my tribe who may have any questions about how I do what I do, how I am able to sustain myself, how I have been sustaining myself, because now it's time for us as a collective to reach a point of self-sustainability so that we can have freedom. And so if you guys have any questions after you guys watch this video, please send me a message. And you guys are probably, the next step after seeing this video would be reaching out to me and scheduling a time where John can sit down with you and take that next step on your financial freedom journey and move forward through there.
A lot of the questions that I find, Pharaoh, is all stemmed with fear, right? I'm fearful of getting into debt. What happens, if these investments go south or whatever like that? Just remember that right now, if you have good credit, you're sitting on a gold mine, literally, okay? But you're not utilizing it. And if you're not utilizing it, it's the same as having bad credit, because you're not using your credit. A lot of people have bad credit and they can't use their credit. So just remember that. Once you get through the process of getting a couple $100,000 or $500,000 in funding, and you put all that time and effort and energy into building your business, building your residual income, buying assets, all of those are yours. That income that you're getting, those assets that you buy, 100% are yours, because we protect them and make sure that they're never in your name. Okay, that's the key, is own nothing in your name, but control everything. So I teach you the whole system, eliminating the fear. Then let's say worst case scenario. I always talk worst case scenario so you understand that it's not that bad, okay? If you default on unsecured debt, the worst thing they can do is hit your credit. They can't come into your bank account, take money out. They can't, lien your houses and do all that stuff if you protect them properly. So I teach you how to protect yourself. You get yourself the best possible chance to be successful. That's the thing, is taking the opportunity that you have with your good credit to be successful. And go out there and realize your dreams, because I know you guys all have amazing ideas and you want to bring them to the world, and you're just stuck on the next piece. And I want to be that bridge to help you get to that next piece. So please.
Awesome. So to summarize, we get this funding. We use this funding to invest in our businesses and our investment opportunities to gain more money. Worst case scenario, if we have this funding that we take out, this debt that we take out, and for some strange reason we don't pay back the loan, or absolute worst case scenario, we don't pay it, we default on it. John, what is the in that direction, as far as if that were to happen, for those people who are always thinking down that path of absolute worst case scenario, what does that path look like for them?
Yeah, and so that's really important to understand too, the details of it. So when you default on an unsecured loan, line of credit, or credit card, right? After 3 months of non-payment, it goes into default. And that means that the bank is going to do a charge off. A charge off literally means that the bank says you don't owe us any more money. But that's not what you get verbalized. They send you to collections, right? Because the charge off, what happens is they're writing it off on their taxes and they're taking a loss. So they have eliminated the debt through that process. But then a glorified investor, a collection agency, all I call them is a glorified investor because they're buying those contracts in bulk from many, many institutions all at the same time for pennies on the dollar, maybe 3 to 5 cents on the dollar, in hopes that they can hound you, harass you, and put fear into you. It's all about fear that you owe them the debt. They never loaned you any money. You never signed anything agreeing for them to loan you any money. You never signed anything saying that you'll pay them for any money that they loaned you. It's a false, fraudulent contract. So I teach you to be confident, and you never, ever, ever talk to a credit collection agency. Because what they're trying to do is they're actually trying to get you on the phone to validate you, your social, your address, and create a new verbal contract with them over the phone because they're recording you. So never get on the phone with them. I have some amazing letters that we can write to get them to stop hounding and harassing you. And then I take you through my credit restoration program, and we clean up the credit, and I call it hitting the reset button. Hit the reset button, and we get you right back in the game in a few months or so. So I literally have all the solutions to every part of the process. All you need to do is take the leap of faith and go with us and try to, do what you want to do in life, man, because you got to take a chance sometime, right?
Wow. So to conclude this, because I want to make sure that we outline this crystal clear for people. So you help us get funding within 30 to 60 days. We use that funding to invest into a business. We have the debt. If we do not pay the debt for whatever reason we let this debt default. Once it goes to default, you set us up through a system that helps us wipe our credit clean by being able to write letters to the debt collectors and providing information that they cannot provide, essentially wiping our credit, resetting it, allowing us to be able to take out more loans and start the system all over again if we want.
From new lenders, yeah. You can't go back to the same lender that you defaulted on, obviously, but
right.
There's plenty of lenders out there. So, yeah, essentially what you said is correct. There's a lot of details that, we'd fill you on in throughout the process. But, yeah, essentially what you said is correct. And it's a game. You just need to learn how to play the game to win, guys. It's really simple in concept, but in detail, you need to learn how to play it. And I'm the one here to educate you and teach you. So I'm full of knowledge. So much more knowledge to share. And, here we are in 30 minutes, but you'll have complete access to me as a client, and I'll be able to answer any questions. And the great thing is I'm very well connected to all these other great professional people in the industry, that if there's something that I can't facilitate, there's always a referral that I can give you that will help you get to that next level. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, John, for answering all these questions and for just reflecting your inside light externally for us. We're so happy to connect with you, and we're happy to be a part of this team. Ground Zero, guys, this is what it's all about. Building the foundation of the new world starts with actually getting to work. That's what we're doing here. We're creating it. So all you have to do, like John said, is say yes. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If not, peace and bliss to you all.
Yeah. Aloha.